Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. Have you ever freaking wondered how to go from torture to triumph? Hold on a sec. Let me fix my hair. Let's go! Wake up the Giants!
You got me so excited I hit the go button.
I know. It's time to go. In fact, today's guest is kind of known for that. Yelling, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
See? Oh my gosh, I'm so freaking excited. It's such a great day. I hope you guys are having a great morning, great day, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ryan Morris, co-creator of Wake Up with Giants TV, a tribe of giants, and 12 Journeys Coaching. And this right below me is Nicholas T. Smith, the author of The Giants and the Smalls.
And the newest.
And he got his beta version back. Oh, this is a 1 of 1 right there.
1 of 1.
1 of 1.
Until it's 2 of 1.
Until we print one other copy to sell.
Yeah. Which it's available right now. Yeah. And we are on a fundraising campaign.
Woo, woo.
So you'll see the link in the comments. So when you buy a book, that helps us fund the books for our last campaign because we spent all the money getting the damn thing printed. So, but we will fulfill
inflation.
Yeah, inflation. So, but it's real. It's here. It's a beautiful story. You can see some of the imagery in the background. But if you are somebody that struggles with self-love, self-acceptance, fitting in, this is the book for you. Powerful message, just like the Giants and the Smalls, and it will be a lifelong book for you. Something you hang on to forever.
It's freaking awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I know that when Nick read it on live, realized we're kind of getting the book out there and getting it, the editing and layout and all the things done. A lot of tears, a lot of self-reflection on my life and the different points in my journey that I felt less than and like it didn't fit in. And fantastic book, great message, and now I can relate to Frankie and I'm grateful. Yeah,
Frankie's awesome. My kids actually had a tortoise named Frankie, and that's what we named her after. And so she's sweet. You can see in the pictures, but just like a lot of us, struggles with self-doubt and wanting to fit in and insecurities. And turns out, I guess you'll have to wait to see.
We're not going to spoil the ending.
Yeah, well, we probably already did in the last episode.
Oh my gosh. Well, we've got SG group running right now.
SG 13.
Assume Gigante 13. That is our 13th group.
I don't know if we can create a gang sign for it. Like
like it sounds like MS 13. Not quite as intense.
No.
I mean, it's intense coaching. It's fantastic coaching. It's just not a little less violent than that particular group. So we don't condone violence most of the time, but we do condone change and growth and positivity, and that's what you get in those groups. So if you're curious and you want to know more about those, reach out to either me or Nick and come join us on a Tribe of Giants on Facebook. You'll see some of that stuff there, positivity and a great community. If you want to watch on YouTube, go to Wake Up with Giants TV, hit the alert button so you know when we go live every single dang time. And the bottom there, if you just want to throw like money our way, just because you love what we do and it helps us grow, then by all means, like trust fund,
beneficiaries on your life insurance policy, like whatever it is, nothing big, but
it's big, $1 billion.
I mean, we could use the support because it helps us do more. Like we've been able to shoestring this along for 4 years now. And, if it speaks to you to donate and you want to help us grow the message even further, reach out to us and we'll let you know how to do that. So
what we have to do is go into schools. We like to show kids their giant potential, and we do it at a severe discount. And we love to go in there and sit with the kids and read the book and share with class to class. Some of my favorite memories of the Giants have been sitting with. There was this little Down syndrome kid, and freaking cutest little kid, and comes up to Nick and asks him for his autograph in a book. And I've got some of the best memories sitting crisscross applesauce with some kids in school. Felt like
yeah,
I was right at home.
1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so those things, that's what that would do. Those are the things that kind of thing would do. So if it speaks to your heart, that'd be awesome. Alina, you're awesome, guys. Love you. Well, what else do we have? Anything else that we have going
No,
on?
I think that's it. Should we introduce and
Let's
dive in?
go.
Let's do it. So today we have an incredible guest whose story embodies the essence of resilience and transformation. Angela Mayora, a peak performance mindset coach and motivational speaker, has faced and triumphed over unimaginable challenges. From a childhood filled with torture and foster homes to overcoming profound grief and battling alcoholism, Angela has emerged 14 years sober and stronger than ever. Good job. Yeah, a proud United States Air Force disabled veteran and retired law enforcement officer, Angela's professional journey is as diverse as it is inspiring. She has worked in real estate, human resources, and respiratory care, each role adding a unique layer to her wealth of experience. Today, she's dedicated her life to helping others harness their inner strength and achieve peak performance. So please join me in welcoming the remarkable Angela Mayora. We'll get there. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really happy to be here.
We need like the audience, right?
Yeah,
The sound
they
effects.
did. They went wild. It was awesome.
I think
All
we
over the
have-
world.
I look forward to diving into your journey and you and your philosophies for life. And we tend to go back to when we start, and this could be the start point, or it might be somewhere else where you feel, you want to dive in. But we like to look at there was a point in life where you thought you were somebody, maybe, from conditioning or family and culture, society. You learned to be a certain way. Maybe you fit into that, maybe you didn't, right? But it led to an awakening moment where you thought there's something different about me. There's something different in me, and I want to express that. And it was different from what you were taught. Do you have a space in mind where your journey starts and kind of a pivotal point in your life?
Absolutely. I would definitely say that it's when I made the decision to get sober. My mom was a violent alcoholic, and to deal with that, I started drinking alcoholically when I was 16 years old. And I found my best friend, and I felt like I needed it. And I felt like it made me more funny. It made me a better person to be around. I felt it made me smarter. I felt like it was my armor. And I carried on with it. And I started to see after 16 years of drinking that it was no longer serving me. Like literally, like the alcohol stopped working. I was drinking it and I would still get the feeling, but it stopped. It stopped working in the sense that I was still there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just like when I moved around to 7 different states, like everywhere I went, there I was. Like it finally stopped working, and it made me realize, damn, I'm still here. Like there's something in me that I need to fix, that I need to change.
I want to hang on that because this is like an opening the door of not just alcoholism, but sometimes we develop traits, personalities, ways of coping, strategies that at one point were amazing. They got us everything we needed. Like you said, alcohol made you funnier. It helped you cope with things. You showed up more. And then there was a point 16 years later where it just stopped working, right? And how many of us develop things in our lives that at one point they really served us and they really helped us survive difficult and challenging situations, but they no longer do that. But they keep running, they kept running, right? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I literally did everything with alcohol for 16 years. Like almost every single day I was drunk and I was able to function with it. My mom was retired law enforcement. She was a San Diego police officer torturing us at home, and she was still carrying on, making money, feeding us, putting a roof over our heads. So I was able to do all of that. And then my mom died. And I continued on for 3 years. And then that's when it stopped working. And even when I got sober, like I was miserable. I didn't realize that I had to do something. That just going to meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous and just sitting there and listening and complaining and being the victim, that wasn't helpful. I was going nowhere. I had to get into action.
So you learned that from your mom.
Yeah.
The coping and the drinking and those types of things. Was that generational type? Like was her like childhood hard and rough, and she learned that from her mom or her parents?
Absolutely. Her father was violent alcoholic, and my father's father was also a violent alcoholic. So alcoholism is 100% a family disease. I learned from the best. You can say.
So when you look back on your life, alcohol turning to that as a coping tool, right? There were things going on in life that were maybe a little difficult to manage or handle. When we talk about the 12 journeys, we'll get into the non-conscious journeys, which are the identity and who you think you are and where that came from and how we identify with our world and perceive our world. And a lot of times people don't know how to handle that. So they create coping tools to handle that. And because they don't quite fit in, they're trying to be something they're not, or they're trying to handle a world that is too much for them. And they create these coping tools and then they don't face any of it. So they stay stuck in this cycle. Right. And so I'd love to hear, what was going on in your world. You talk about some of the torture at home and the challenges, and as much as you're willing to share comfortably, and you go as far as you'd like to go here. Can you tell us what it was like growing up? Like what was the life like? Alcohol was that pivotal point, but prior to that, what was going on?
Yeah. So, I mean, I vividly remember, I 100% do not remember a lot of the first 10 years of my life. But there are certain memories that I have. So one of them is, and this was a constant thing, like every day waking up and just popping my eyes open in bed, just being scared. Like, where's the monster? Like, where is she? Like, I'm listening. Like, is she up yet? But the pattern that I saw that I didn't realize what it was when I was little was she would wake up. First thing she would do was go into the bathroom and throw up. Like, I didn't know when I was a kid that meant that was a hangover, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, she's throwing up. So now I already know what's going to happen next. She's going to walk to the kitchen. I'm going to hear the twisting of the vodka bottle, or I'm going to hear the pop of the beer. There she goes drinking. Like it was just super volatile. Like I never knew like when it was okay to get out of bed. Sometimes she wouldn't get out of bed and I would be hungry. My brother and sister and I, we grew up together. Like we would be hungry, but it wouldn't matter.
You don't know if you could if it's safe to go get something to eat because you don't know how she's going to react.
Oh, we weren't allowed to open the refrigerator. We weren't allowed to do anything without her permission. Nothing. She was super overprotective, which was really strange because of the violence. But it was just bad when she drank. Like she was physically.
That's a paradox, right? Because she's super protective and violent. Like she's the one creating the violence. Yeah.
It was very confusing. So I'd be in the basement for days with no food in the dark. I remember
like as a punishment type of thing.
Mm-hmm. She was really strange. Like one time she woke me up in the middle of the night and she called me to lay in bed with her to tell her a story. and just like to make up a random story. So I started telling her a story, and then I fell asleep, and then I woke up to her beating me, and then she made me get naked and go outside in the snow. Like wild stuff, like unbelievable. Like I was playing ping pong with my brother, and she came and took the ping pong paddle out of my hand because I was laughing. Heaven forbid I laugh, I'm a child. And she took the ping pong paddle and hit me over the head extremely hard, busted my head open, and she told me to stop crying.
Huh.
Yeah, just stuff like that over and over and over. And
Yeah.
she just had no, like, she got joy out of seeing me in pain.
Yeah. Wow. So speaking to somebody that may have gone through something similar, right? That these things are defining. They become ingrained. They become perceptions of the world. They create protections. You know, we create protections around them, and then we also create these coping skills, right? And some of them long term aren't the healthiest, but they work in the moment. And as a strategy, it's pretty amazing what the body can do to survive challenging situations. I mean, you know, I talked to one lady that was a psychologist her whole life around multiple personalities. And we even have the ability to create multiple personalities to protect ourselves. I mean, it's incredible what the mind can do. Schizophrenia, all these things. And all these disorders are disorders because they're essentially coping tools that have become unhealthy, right? They're not working anymore. But at one point they did. And so people get very judgmental of themselves over these coping skills that they've developed that no longer serve them. And then they judge themselves as unworthy, unlovable, not enough, right? Broken, or some of the things we hear. And and you're not. You just develop these things to protect yourself. And at some point they worked, and then they didn't. And they didn't. So they just need some updating, right? And so when you started to look at, you know, here's what led to this, and this is how I handled it, and the thing I used to handle it no longer serves me, then what?
Yeah, I started getting curious as the years went
Okay.
on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I started getting curious. My mom used to tell me that I was dumb, and I believed her. Like
Mm.
legit I believed everything she said. Like I just did.
Mm.
And I really did think I was dumb. And I knew that I could be a law enforcement officer and make six figures and not have to go to high school. So at a very young age, because I thought I was dumb, I was like, that's what I'm gonna do because I'm dumb.
Mm.
And then as the years passed, I started getting curious about that. I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm I don't think I'm dumb. Let me test this. And so then I got sober, and then I got my associate's degree, my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, working on my PhD, and getting straight A's all throughout. So realizing that my circumstances did not define me. I thought they did, but it was the fact that I got curious about it. And then I got curious about other things. Like, what else
Mm.
did she tell me that's not true? And then I just started investigating, if you will.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to pull in our journeys because they tie in, you know, every time we pull them in because they tie in perfectly here. It's like we have this non-conscious way of being. We think that's who we are. And your mom's telling you're dumb and you don't even question it. It's like Lambert, the sheepish lion. He's like, I'm a sheep, right? But there's a point he discovers, you know, I'm not really a sheep at all. I'm a lion, and lions do what lions do.
They do.
But they do, Ryan the lion. But in this, you know, that awareness, when you wake up to it and you get curious, because what tends to happen is people, when they wake up to things, they don't get curious, they get judgmental, they get justified, they get comparing, they do all the things that keep them stuck. So they look for reasons for why that's true. But when you do what you did and you become
Or
the
why it's
observer of
not
your life,
true as well.
yeah. And so you get in, when you move into awareness and you start exploring and you get curious and you get compassionate, you're like, man, if my friend went through what I went through and I was talking to them, holy crap, my heart would break for them. I would want to hold them. I would want them to know I love them, you know, and we start moving from a space of judgment and justification and shame and blame to, okay, am I dumb? Is that true? And you start to challenge it, right? And then in that challenging, you discover straight A student, associates, bachelors, masters, doctorate, right?
Badass.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of challenging our old limiting belief systems, because man, many of us have versions of that where we think that's our programming, that's who we are, and we never challenge it. We never get curious. Like, why is that so important, Angela?
It's so important. Oh, so important. Everything changed for me when I started meditating.
Mm.
It was everything. It's what helped me get conscious, because I was unconscious and not challenging my limiting beliefs for so many years.
Mm.
But when I got sober, and that was one of the steps in Alcoholics Anonymous, step 11 sought through prayer and meditation to improve my conscious contact with God as I understand him, praying only for the knowledge of his will for me and the power to carry that out.
Mm.
When I started practicing that step and turning it over, I call my higher power Gus. God, universe,
Like,
soul.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I like it.
Right?
It
So when I
reminded me
started,
of the movie Gus. There was a Disney movie called
Yeah,
Gus.
Cinderella, right? Gus.
yeah.
And Gus.
Gus,
Yeah, Gus.
Gus,
There
Gus.
was yeah. That's funny. Anyway,
So when I started turning everything over to Gus, that's when everything changed for me. And when for so many years before, when I was sober, I didn't like take the meditation seriously.
Mm.
I made it so big in my head. And for me today, simplicity is the answer. Everything is so simple. It's me and my thoughts that make everything so difficult. So I used to think that meditation was this thing, and I had to have my hands a certain way, and I had to be on a mountain, and I had to be complete silence, and like and I had to do it for a certain amount of time, and all this ridiculous stuff. Today I know that all meditation is taking a conscious breath. I've done that 100 times since we've been on this call.
Mm.
It's the only way that I can be present. And when I'm present, those limiting beliefs aren't a thing. I don't allow them to be a thing. I allow the divine to come through me.
Beautiful.
I saw that in like when you paused for a minute when Nick asked you a question, you stopped and you got it quiet, got centered, got present. And if people can do that, I think sometimes we joke. I joke all the time about I don't go quiet because I don't want to hear the voices in my head type of thing. Just thinking around in speaking. But really, if you'll get quiet, get curious, get calm, take a breath, just slow down. Gus is really, really wanting to talk to you and speak through you, and the magic and the things that can come through at that point, the clarity, the understanding, the forgiveness, the peace. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And my heart is smiling so big because of what you've done. And I relate in some degree. The things that you went through were pretty terrible. And I can relate as much as I can relate, but I can relate to the journey of discovering and growth and peace and joy and happiness that can come as you travel down that path. And it can seem like the scariest freaking journey in the world, but there's so much on the other side as you move through that. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate you just being you.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your vulnerability, and I accept your acknowledgement. I receive it into my heart. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So this mindfulness, right? The conscious breath, the presence. When you pull back into that, it really means that your past has no say and your future isn't written yet. So you're really right here, right? And so when you do that, I have a song that I wrote called "I Am Nobody." It's on YouTube, and it's a poem, and it talks about that. Like, I am nobody until I decide who I am, right? I'm nobody. I'm not tied to any past program. And so it's this idea that we create ourselves in every moment. So no matter what happened in the past, we're the ones that get to decide who we are from right now, moving into that future that hasn't been written yet. Right. So I love the framework that you're giving here, because what we try to do is we try to manage these emotions that come up, because the emotions are just chemical responses to our brain making sense of the world around us. And that making sense is determined by who we think we are. And so when we get into those heavy emotions and we try and handle those, we cope with them and we use tools. And sometimes it's alcohol, sometimes it's drugs, sometimes it's food, sex. It could even be ways of being, patterns, right, that we've repeated. And then we find out, like you said, they no longer work. So now we've got to learn new patterns and new behaviors. And the only way you can learn a new behavior is by being right here, right now, right? So tell us about some of your behaviors that you learned.
Oh, that now, it just shows up, that pesky now. It's like, I mean,
yeah, I love it.
Oh, are you kidding me right now? You have that on you?
It just shows up everywhere. It literally changed. It literally changed my life. Like, I got now tattooed on me, and then when I got home, I realized what it spells backwards, and I about crap my pants, like literally. It spells one backwards, WON, because when we're in the now, we fucking win every time.
Yeah, let's go.
When we're in yesterday or a moment ago, what I just said is already gone. I'm only here right now. I'm not worried about tomorrow, what I'm going to say next.
Yeah.
And when we're in the now, that's where the magic happens. That's where the possibilities are. And creating is so fun. But I've created so much in my life, so much. And because of my ability to be now, 19 months ago, I walked away from my career of 9 years at Rady Children's Hospital, San Diego, where I was a respiratory care practitioner. And one night I was there, it was 3:00 in the morning. I worked from 7 at night till 7 in the morning. Gus told me, your work is done here. And I was like, come again? What the frick are you talking about? With all due respect, I'm always arguing with Gus.
Excuse me,
I
sir.
am too. Yeah. I say a lot of swear words, and I hope he's okay.
Oh yeah, he appreciates our sense of humor. He gave us the swear words, so we're good. We're good.
And he's in the words that were put here. That's all.
Yeah. And he said, your work is done here. And I'm like, what do you mean, sir? Like, what are you talking about? That job was the biggest blessing in my sobriety. And I've been coaching since 2018, but just part-time. And he was letting me know, like, no, you're done. Like, you're going to coach full-time. You're going to step out in faith. Like, this is your last night here. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And I listened 19 months ago. And because I listened, I've learned so much about myself. I have 9 businesses today. Like, I didn't even know that speaking was a gift that I have. I had no clue. 3 months into being an entrepreneur, I found out that speaking was my gift. And I declared that I am the best motivational speaker on this planet and all the other planets. And because I say that, the possibilities are endless, because like you said, who we are is everything. I am the 2 most powerful words in the human language.
Yeah.
So creating. For so many years, I created, I am a drunk. I am worried. I am fearful. I am all this garbage. No, that's not who I am. I tell myself who I am in every moment of every day. And I remind myself and I forgive myself, because it's not always perfect. We get those thoughts.
Can we create a distinction here?
Sure, of course.
You ready to play a little bit?
I love playing.
Yeah. So, I think of the I am, the constant I am exists. And then there's this body that we have, right? The kind of the vehicle that this I am gets to travel in. And in the past, I was taught, I am tired. I am anxious. I was taught that, right? Like, that's who I am. But it's not who I am. It's what my body is doing. So the I am is experiencing the body having anxiety. So the body's anxious. The mind is having thoughts. The brain is doing what it does, but the I am is not that. It's not doing any of that. So the distinction between the body and the brain and the mind versus the I am, the you that's beyond all of it, is where I think there's a lot of opportunity for growth, because we go around speaking, oh, I am an anxious person. Well, no, you're an I am that has a body that's anxious, right? And so you get to learn to work with that body. It's like I get to drive to work in a Ford F-150. It's 2014, 170,000 miles on it. The thing is rickety as shit, right? But I am not my truck. I'm just driving my truck. You know, and some days the
Rickety isn't
wheels
a
won't.
word that I would use for Nicholas D. Smith.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say
A
I'm
little
rickety
rusty
because
here
I
and
drive
there,
a
but not
2014
rickety.
Ford, right? But the idea there is that we identify with our body. We're like, oh, that's me. You know, I'm anxious, I'm depressed, I'm this. No, you're just driving a body that's experiencing that. Can you play with that with me for a minute? Like, what is your insight on that? What's your view?
Feelings aren't facts.
Okay.
Very simple. Because I'm feeling a certain way, like you could be like, example, in 2021, I got my favorite dream vehicle. I mean, I've literally been dreaming about this vehicle since 2005. I got it, my Jeep Rubicon, threw my name on the license plate, like just, oh, I love this thing. Like just one button and the whole top goes down. Like
Beautiful.
It's hybrid, so it's not a gas guzzler. Like unbelievable. Like the feelings I have about this Jeep are just, oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So the lease just got up, right? I could have made lots of choices on what to do next. Like the old me would have been like, oh, like it's not the current year, so it's time to get a new vehicle. Like my feelings could have changed about my Jeep, but it's the same Jeep that I've wanted for so many years. So just because maybe one day I like have a little scratch in it or something, oh, time to get a new car. That's what I would have done before. I'm constantly checking myself, checking my motives, looking at why I'm doing things. And when I'm feeling a certain way, I sit with it. I don't react off my feelings and my emotions because those aren't facts.
Yeah, that acknowledgement of this is what is, this is what's happening. These are the emotions. I'm sitting with the emotions of it, the feelings of it, the sensations. Let's say it that way, because we tend to judge emotions like we know what the fuck is going on, right? Sometimes we don't. So we're sitting with the sensations, we're sitting with the thoughts, we're sitting with what is, and there's an acknowledgement of that without resigning to it, right? This is what is. This is what I get to work with. I have this beautiful Jeep that I've always wanted. And so it's got a scratch on it. Do I need to go get a new Jeep because it's got a scratch on it? Like, do I need to reset Nick Smith because he's got a couple of scratches and fractures, or can I do what I think it's in, is it Ikigai in Japanese culture where they put gold? I don't know if that's the right word.
In the cracks, yeah.
Yeah, they put gold in the cracks, but we can do that for ourselves. When you slow down without your judgments, right? Because if we judge it, then no, there's no cracks to fill. There's just, let's replace this. I'm broken. You know, I'll never be good enough. All that stuff. And so, am I hearing your version of that? Am I hearing you, Angela?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And for me, it's constantly having an attitude of gratitude. Being grateful. Like
Ryan, did you teach her all our journeys like before she came on, or like?
I'd like to take credit for everything that she's ever done and been through, but no, she's. I think they're universal truths, and so when you hear universal truths, when you run across somebody who is speaking, doing, living universal truth, you recognize it. And we didn't talk in Birmingham. Her and I hugged a lot of people, and I didn't get to hug her. And I wish I would have. And I wish I could have taken credit for the way that she was being, because I don't know, maybe that would make me feel better about my own life. I don't know, but like I don't. She's doing this.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
amazing.
afterwards what happens too is like attracts like the energies. And I was actually, just as a quick story, not to take too much of your time, but this actually relates, is I got to sit with a a very small gentleman named Sanika the Firestarter Street.
Tiny guy.
Yeah,
Yep.
tiny little fella.
So small. This is really
The dude's
Not very
thighs,
imposing
the dude's
at all.
thighs are as big as my body. his biceps are bigger than my
His
thighs.
biceps are bigger than my torso.
Yeah.
Like,
So there I was,
he's got
doing
two
some
Nicks
work.
walking around like this on his
Yeah,
arms.
yeah, dude's massive, and got to do some work with him, and was reaching out with one of his projects, and popped on. I had a list of some people to contact that said, "Hey, it's okay to contact and to reach out," and ran across Angela, and I had been in I had been on. Wait, how am I trying to say that? You had been on my radar before. I had followed you. I'd seen you related, but it came back into my field of view, and I was like, "Oh, this is a very special human being. This is somebody that's has a story that can share with other people, help them while they're going through it, maybe before they go through it, see a different way of being, and as being a change maker and a leader to show other people by example." And this is somebody that I want to be around more and more and more, and have a relationship and a friendship with. And so that's how that happened. Also, with Sanika, he talks about how he is cause, which is the same as I am now. You at home, you, me, Nick, Angela, we are cause. We are now. We have choices. We have the ability to react how we choose to react. We are universal consciousness. We have Gus on our side, right? And when you can start to see that, when you start to wake up to it, that's really when the fun begins. That's really when the power comes in, and you can see that you are not your circumstance. You're not what other people say you are. You are what you are. You get to decide. You get to build. You get to grow. You get to stretch. Um, and this is living proof. We're all three of us have done that and are still doing that. It's a constant work. But you can do it too. If you don't think it's possible, I'm telling you, you could go through torture, absolute torture, and take control, and start getting curious about the possibilities. And you'll see your whole life shift.
Yeah, I love how you use the words wake up, and that's the name of the show, right? Wake Up with the Giants TV. Like it's literally like I wasn't awake. Like I was just a robot and just believing what my mom told me I was and believing all the things and just having those limiting beliefs. And then one day slowly, and it's not, I don't get to graduate one day. Every day I'm waking up more and more if that's what I choose. But it's like literally waking up to who I am. All of us are waking up to who we are. And we can only do that if we silence our minds, if we reprogram our brains. And we do that, and it starts with meditation. There's so many other tools, but meditation is key.
Yeah, this, when you last shared about gratitude, it's when you waking up is a part of it, but it's a consistent waking up into a new direction. Alina just shared your past molds you. Sure, your circumstances help mold you. Yeah, they do, but they don't have to hold you. Right? So when you're looking at like you just expressed, gratitude is one of the journeys that we talk about, because gratitude starts acknowledging the good that's come from all the things you went through. Because Angela, you wouldn't be who you are today without everything your mom did. I mean, I wish there was a way that you could have learned it without having to go through that. but you would not be the power that you are today without your mom's experience, right? So that's gratitude. I wouldn't be who I am today if my dad hadn't died when I was 2, and I'm number 9 of 11. All these things, right? 11 kids. It's like all these things had to happen to help mold me into who I am today. Now, could they have been taught another way? For sure. You know, there's a lot of possibilities. So it's when you wake up, our framework helps you continue to wake up bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and grow into that giant that's already in there. So when you go into gratitude, it's like, oh, there's good in everything that's ever happened. We learned from Kit Volcano, who's on the show, that everything is for her good, or his good. That everything that we do or has happened to us is for our good and our benefit. And you start to see the abundance of the world as soon as you get grateful. And if you look at Andrew Huberman's work on the neuroscience behind gratitude, it's not about expressing gratitude. It's in the receiving of gratitude that we experience the chemical releases. It's in witnessing somebody else receive that we experience that dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin, right? It's not for our benefit, although it is for our benefit, because as soon as we witness it, we feel good and we're like, holy shit, that feels good, right? And we want to do more. So can you speak more about the power of gratitude and why you choose that?
Having an attitude of gratitude every day has been so huge for me. I can genuinely say from the depths of my soul that I am literally grateful that my mom tortured me. I am grateful for everything that I can remember. I'm grateful for everything that I can't remember, because I know that's just my body protecting me, the not being able to remember a lot. And I'm fine with that. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the 17 major deaths in my family, including mom and sister they killed themselves, both of them, my sister recently, with alcohol. Like, I'm grateful for that and what I went through when that happened. Like, I'm literally grateful for every moment, because all of these moments are teaching moments.
Yeah. Wow.
Every moment, anything that happens, I have an opportunity, again, to get curious. What can I learn from this? I am not a victim anymore. I was a victim for so many years. Oh, poor me, swimming in Lake Me. Where's the violin? Like,
there's a lot of dead bodies in Lake Me.
Seriously.
And Lake Me.
Icky Lake.
Yeah. We are not victims.
Yeah.
We have an opportunity to change things. It doesn't matter how old we are. It doesn't matter what we've been through. It doesn't matter if your parent shot you in the face. Like, nothing matters. All that matters is now, today, now. Who do we want to be?
So that's a choice. You know, everybody has a chance to decide. There's a lesson to be learned. There's gold in this for me, or we can play the victim or the martyr of our circumstance and tell the stories of why we're justified in being who we are and why it's okay, right, that we get to stay this way and we don't have to change because of what happened. And others are out there saying, that's exactly why I'm changing, because of what happened, right? And so, like, martyrdom, you know, I'll tell a brief story. We used to go to church and my mom would get up. We had this thing called Fast Sunday, right, where you would fast, you wouldn't eat, and then you'd get up and share your thoughts of God. And my mom would get up every Fast Sunday and tell the same story over and over again. Well, that story was a way for her to get people to feel bad for her, and they would give her things, right? And she learned and she knew how to work that so that she'd tell that story. My husband passed away. I had 11 kids, 8 under 8. We knew the story. Like, we could recite her story. We could get up there and tell it for her. She told it so many times. But that story became a justification for her staying the way she was, right? And it was also a tool that she used to be able to get what she needed from the world, from society, culture. And there was a payoff in it. But it became a stuck point, and many of us do that. We get into our story and our justification, and people say, oh man, you're right for being mad. You're right for being the victim. You're right for being the martyr. And we're like, hell yeah. We don't look for the truth in the world. We look for confirmation of our truth. And I'd love to hear your thoughts around that. Even, go a little deeper with that. How do we move from victim and martyr to empowered?
I was really good at being a victim. Like if there could be an award for a gold medal in the Olympics for being a victim, like I'm pretty sure I would have won. Right? Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But what if I turn that into something else? Like not being a victim anymore and being somebody that shares my experience, strength, and hope with others and helping others transform their lives. It's important for us to get into the solution instead of staying stuck. But it's the awareness. Like some people aren't even aware that there's a problem. It's really on my heart to talk about forgiveness because that was a huge piece for me in being able to let go. Forgiving everyone, not for them, but for me.
We need another F in there, Steve. Steve puts triple F for farts, fractals, and the fuck word. Now we need another F in there, like quadruple F, which would be forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
Can I share? There's a definition we use of forgiveness in our work, and it's to not cause additional harm, not to yourself and not to anybody else.
Yeah, I finally forgave my father, and it was huge. I love that you said that right now because I released him from the chains that I put on him. He is no longer in pain. I helped him be in pain because I punished him for his past, but we're in the now. I was only punishing him and myself. That's it.
And by that, you mean you held him in that place.
Yes. I held him down. I don't do that. I lift people up. It doesn't matter what they did to me or how I see things.
We hold people in their space. Holy shit.
Sometimes that's ourselves too.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, us and them, like we in non-forgiveness, we stop progress for them or for us. And holy crap, that's a realization that's hitting me for some reason. It's like, I know that, but not aware of it. Right. Like if I don't forgive somebody, I'm holding them in that space. Now they may not feel that, but in my world, I am,
And that's why that self-forgiveness piece is everything. Because all we're doing is holding ourselves down. We have to forgive ourselves. I have forgave myself for something yesterday. It's progress. It's not perfection. Right.
So when we talk about journeys, each journey is a journey and the whole thing is a journey. That means it's always a journey. Like life isn't a thing where you get there and you've arrived and yay for you. Let's celebrate you and then quit working for the rest of your life because you're done. It just doesn't work that way because there are other areas where you notice where it's not out of requirement, but you're playing small and not out of requirement to change, but a desire to change. Right? It's like you don't have to do any of this. Nobody's making you. Good morning, Brenda. Nobody's making you do it. But we feel like this social pressure to do things. But even we're making up that social pressure. I went to a concert the other night and all these people were sitting in the VIP section. Nobody was dancing. Right. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, I don't want to dance because what would people think if I danced? And I'm thinking, man, they would sure judge me if I was dancing. And then I'm like,
I would never judge you, Dan, Nick.
But there's nobody judging me. And there's also nobody dancing, but they're all having the same thoughts, right?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
So it's like the only one judging me is me judging me over what I think I
That
think they're thinking, right?
Yeah.
And so what do? I get up and I start moving.
Love it.
You know, it's what we do. It's like there's nobody judging us but our judgments. Like there's no external person that can judge you. It just doesn't exist.
and
You
what
know?
does it matter anyway if they are?
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
That's the thing. It's
Right.
like, what does that change? Yet we think that it's like some, it's going to have some massive impact on the way that they look at us. Who cares?
I have one word for all of this
Huh.
subject:
Yeah.
authenticity.
Okay. Yeah.
You were being true to yourself in that moment. You check that thought. Who's judging? It was you judging you, and you danced.
Yeah.
You chose in that moment to be authentic. When I was at the DMV recently, I made a post about this. I was amazed how serious everybody was. I was like, what is happening in here?
It's a
like,
very serious
I felt like I was at a funeral.
Right.
You just about are at the DMV too.
There was like 100 people in there and everybody was like solemn. And I'm like, what is happening? And I just started skipping through the DMV. I actually took a picture and there was one person smiling and it was a kid. And I'm like, no, this has got to change right now.
Oh,
and I didn't think about if they were going to judge me. I didn't care. Like for me, it's not a thing. Like I'm just authentic all of the time on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody thinks about what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. And for so many years, that wasn't the case. Like I cared about everything that I said. And is somebody going to be offended because I fucking cuss? I don't give a fuck. Like it's who I am. I cuss. Right? Like being authentic is everything. Just being who you are. There's no other you. The world is waiting for you. Let's wake up together.
Yeah. See, this is that journey, that empowerment that happens when you elevate like this and you start realizing there's nobody holding me back but me. There's nobody out there doing that. And when you realize that, and then you start looking at what's possible in this world, everything is possible. Everything you need to create that possibility is already here. There's no limit to what you can imagine. There's no limit to what you can bring into this world. The only limitations that could ever be are the ones you create, like Chris Smith talks about. Is that, I love his statement that possibility exists, limitation is created. And then when you get into that space, you start surrendering and letting go and just having fun with it. And there's no requirement to create any of it. It's just fun. We get to play. And then we nurture ourselves in that and we leave this impact in the world, right? But you can't get there. You can't really get there if you're in the space of, well, I have to do this because I need to look good for so-and-so. You're not in the space of creativity at that point. You're in the space of obligation. And that's a different energy. What's that bringing up?
I was just laughing thinking about the DMV story. It just like the security officer started walking towards me. I'm like, I would love to be cuffed up right now. Please arrest me for skipping. Like I can't. I will own the state of California. I will own the DMV. Please arrest me for skipping. Could you please stop skipping? Like tell me to stop skipping. I'm going to skip faster.
Like, thanks, but no thank you.
Yeah, beautiful.
There's this on I don't know where I saw this, but a few years back I posted on Ryan doing Ryan things. That's become a tagline, and because of that, because I just want to be me doing me things, because I don't have to try to just flow what's inside of me. Somebody said the other day, thank you for being so kind. And I was like, hey, yeah, you're welcome. And I sat with that for a second. I said, like in my head, I was like, oh, I don't have to try to be kind. I just am. It just is. I am cause. It's me. This is what I do. And I've put on so many layers. We talked a few episodes ago about putting on clay and just building this suit of armor of sorts of clay, these layers that we adopt over the years, that this is what we think we are, or this is what others think we are, and we adopt them, and it's not really who we are. just like you skipping through the DMV, that is who I see you as. The let's go, let's go. And when you do that, it also allows others to see and others to be more free and to see themselves and be able to allow themselves, because it's an allowance. They're the only ones holding them down or back
Mm.
or from moving forward. And so that, thank you for being you and showing others that they can be them.
Mm. Yeah, that's huge, right? Like everyone erupted in laughter. Like a lot of people were laughing, and I'm like, we do.
I would have died. I would have probably got up if you started skipping and we were having the best time, and people were being all weird about it. I probably would have joined you.
I could see the police be like, "We got a skipper," and they tackle you like, "We got a skipper.
You got a skipper."
Good time. Creating is so fun. It's so fun. But I was able to become authentic, by learning how to be love. Like I am love innately, but loving myself, that journey of self-love is everything.
This is a good question right here. It's a good one. Thanks, Hugh. Can we answer that? What's it like being Angela today?
It's so fun. Every moment of every day is so fun. I'm always on a mission, like laughing, making other people laugh, and it's just fun. That's what it's like being me.
That's beautiful. I want to pull this up here. With the event we went to, Andrea's my girlfriend, and we went to an event the other day, and all these people were sitting, and she gets out there, and you talk about somebody that energetically just doesn't give a shit what people think. She energetically goes out there and does that, and literally they pulled everybody like from the stadium into the center where she was. Like she created this energy where people just wanted to be a part of that because she didn't care, like you skipping in the DMV. And part of me thinks, oh, I could never do that, right? And it's only me that would think that. And it's like I would never skip through the DMV, and it's like, why not?
Yeah, why not? Who's making me rules?
I can't wait to hear about this. I can't wait. Zero limits.
Yeah.
There are no limits. Only the limits that we place on ourselves.
That's it. Man, this is beautiful. Angela, the philosophies that come out, every person is unique. There's some common truths that we see, and we call those the 12 journeys. But every person has a unique journey in their way of making an impact in the world, and being able to sit with you and hear where you've come from and what you've done and how you've overcome and how you've become who you are today. It really is inspiring. It's this never gets old to me. I feel so blessed to be able to sit with people like you and just sit in your heart and your philosophies, and that you're even willing to share that with me. That blows my mind. Like we've done this every week for 4 years, 290 interviews like this. And it blows my mind how much people are willing to share about their journeys if we'll just slow down and ask. And I'm just grateful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I appreciate both of you.
You're welcome. Is there anything else that you feel inspired to share today? Anything come to mind and come to your heart?
What didn't we or the audience ask you? That you wish you would have been asked. That's the question that Nick loves to ask too.
I'm whole.
Yeah. Awesome. Brian, what about you, man?
Well, I got the hair on my arms stood up when you said, you could see that when you said, I am whole. That happened. I am whole. I am now. Thank you, Gus. We need a hat that says Gus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Angela needs a hat.
And I can't wait to somebody says my hat says Gus, and then somebody asks me who's Gus. I am. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
That's another episode right there.
There it is.
That's beautiful.
we like we do these like every week, um, and we like to show people that have gone through something. We've gone through all kinds of somethings. Um, the range of people that have been on this show is incredible. The experiences that they've experienced. Uh, there's people that will watch this episode, Angela, years and years and years from now, and they're going through something similar to what you're going through or been through, and go, wow, and they'll see possibility. Nick's book, in the book The Giants and the Smalls, there's this point in the book where Remy hears or Rit hears Remy or one of the giants, and I don't know if it was Remy exactly, but it was a giant laughing, and he did a giant thing, and he looked up. This is him right there. It's weird on camera. I don't know if you can see that, but there's the giants in the distance, and they're laughing, and he looks up, and in that moment, he has a little bit of an awakening. He does something very, very giant, and he starts to say things like, "Is that possible for me? How can I become a giant? How did they get there? What did they do?" And these are something that has never even occurred to them that they could do, because maybe they thought they were dumb. Maybe they were told they were dumb, that they would never amount to anything, that they'd been abused, that they're worthless. That's for somebody who's rich, or that's for somebody that's born in this family, or whatever the thing is. And you just showed them that that's not true, and opened up the door for them to step through and to go down a path that leads to not that. So
I love the work you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Please don't ever quit. If you need us as giants to be friends with and to lean on, that's one of my favorite things, is to align myself with people that are doing their work, and to because guess what, we still need other giants too. You've been my giant today. I'm sure you'll be my giant in the future. Nick has been my giant, and I hope to be able to do that for you and for others as well, where you can sit on my shoulder and I can stand up and show you possibilities, where I can sit on your shoulder and you can show me possibilities. And that's what this whole thing is about.
Being of service to others. I'm here for you guys always as well. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I love that. Eat your pea soup.
If you read the book, that's in there. Pea soup and crackers.
I still haven't eaten that can of pea soup that Hugh gave me. I will never eat that. It's a trophy to me. In the book, The Smalls Eat Pea Soup and Crackers. And the first time I met Hugh in person, he hands me a can of pea soup, because you're like, Smalls, giants don't want to eat pea soup anymore. They eat the good things, they enjoy everything in life. And so, but I do enjoy pea soup. It's good.
I was going to say, don't judge a pea soup.
Good stuff. I'm honest. I grew up on that. Man, for everybody that's here, remember, we always do the symbol of the X, is the X is where you are. The X is a number or letter that can mean anything. The X is where you're going. The X is that you're right on time. You're doing what you need to be doing, and to keep stepping. And so if you need support in that, we have our 12 Journeys program that is phenomenal. And it's a framework that will teach you how to continue to do that process. We have shows like this. We have the Tribe of Giants. We have the books. Make sure you go grab a copy of this. This is another incredible metaphor for self-love and acceptance. And go check out Angela's work at angelamayora.com. So make sure you go there and visit, right? And you probably know somebody in this world that needs this video right here. So click the share button and send it to them and tell them why they should watch it. And help us spread that word. So
watch for the best speaker on this planet, and
Yeah.
every planet.
Every planet.
She'll be traveling around speaking. So go watch this badass in live events. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, Scotland's next. I can't wait for that.
There you go. So yeah, check it out. Remember to keep joining us every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on Wake Up with Giants TV. Make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel so you can get our notifications every time we go live. When, Ryan?
Every dang time.
Every dang time. Well, we love you. Go make it a giant day, and we will see you in the next video.
Love you too.
Love you.